Hello, everybody. This is Jana Kadovitz with the Holistic Institute of Wellness.
And I'm Carolyn Jones with the Holistic Institute of Wellness. And today we wanted to take a few minutes to chat with you all about meditation. Because throughout Jana and I's careers, we are constantly being asked about meditation. How do you meditate? Why do you meditate? How long do you meditate?
Where? When? How?
Exactly. So we hear this over and over again. So we thought it might be beneficial to just share some of our thoughts about meditation and things that have helped us.
You know, and I was just thinking, the funniest thing is I've been doing this 30 years, and it was the same questions back then. It's the exact same questions as we're all asking now, as a lot of people are asking now.
Yeah.
How do I meditate?
Yeah, I think part of it may be, I don't know if this is true for everyone, but I know for me in the very beginning, I think I was a little bit intimidated by it.
Yeah,
because
I can see that.
I think, for me anyway, I used to associate it with, yogis and gurus, and I thought, my goodness, I can't sit Indian style for 45 minutes, with mudras doing, Om chants. And so that was my initial impression. So I'm wondering if that's kind of a general impression out there.
I get the feeling that it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because when I started my Buddhist practice, it was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
It was literally how to sit, for how long, be silent, be quiet, be still. And it got very painful.
Right. So we're not talking about that kind of meditation today, just for the record.
Things have changed.
And we're talking about where you can practice actual just mindfulness techniques, and where you can take deep breaths and getting centered. So all the way from a couple of minutes to 45 and beyond.
Yeah.
Right, Jana?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, keep it as simple as possible. I'm a huge believer in keep it simple, right? I mean, be real with where your complacency is going to be.
Yeah.
It's like anything. We all get excited at the beginning of a brand new project, and eventually it either peters out, we get distracted, something happens, and all of a sudden our excitement over what we were going to do kind of starts taking a back seat.
Right.
So keep it simple, and then it doesn't feel so arduous, and it doesn't feel like it's such a chore. I know that you and I were talking earlier about for people who have a programming of real linear minds, right?
Right.
Whether we were brought up in that environment or not, but for those people who really need to keep things kind of in the box because it makes sense.
Right.
This can be a very arduous, painful, and I just use that loosely. I'm using that word very loosely. But it can almost feel struggly. People can struggle with it because they feel that they're supposed to do it a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
And so much has changed.
Right.
Because back in the 70s, there was a lot of different ways that people were speaking about meditation. And it was also the era of yogis and Sufis, and everything was so different back then. It was about going outside yourself and looking for someone to guide you, to tell you something.
Right.
So it's not that time anymore.
Right.
It is now time to go within, because we are the yogi.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of that, Jana, just some simple ways, we'll just kind of address the how, when, what, where. But as far as how you do it, you can begin by simply closing your eyes and taking a couple of deep breaths. And set a timer and time yourself for 2 or 3 minutes. You can start practicing that way. You can also listen to guided meditations.
Yes.
We have some wonderful guided meditations out there on our Holistic Institute of Wellness YouTube channel. There's another gentleman that we follow, Steve Noble. Steve has all sorts of meditations. There's many, many people out there now that do meditation. So sometimes guided meditation helps because we don't have all of those thoughts moving around in our head. And that's one of the things that really stops people from meditating, because what I hear is like, well, all I do is just sit and my thoughts just ruminate. That's kind of the process, because through meditation, we're really retraining a part of our brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the neuroplasticity of the brain, and I'll explain it as railroad tracks. Sometimes when the train needs to switch a track, there's a whole mechanism that has to take place between the conductor and the actual railroad tracks, right?
Right.
And the same thing is happening with our brain. It's the exact same thing. We literally are just needing to shift things around a bit
Right.
and switch the actual neuro track
Right.
that we are used to something different,
Yeah.
because it's literally going to take us to a different location.
Yes. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So you can start anywhere. And Jana, you and I were talking earlier, and you used the example or the analogy of just simply even brushing your teeth, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just being mindful
Yeah.
about that process
Yeah.
and how that can be meditative.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that really brings you to your zen. And some people, it's as simple as brushing your teeth, because it's such a refreshing feeling, and it feels good on our gums. And that's a chemical, there's a whole chemical thing that's going on with our brain. So as simple as coming in and you've got a couple of minutes there, just be in your body for that couple of minutes. Feel the sensation. What are you feeling?
Right.
And it can be as simple as that.
And that goes back to the mindfulness part.
Absolutely.
Being mindful of what you're doing versus, while you're brushing your teeth, thinking of all the things you've got to get done for the day, your grocery list, what you've got to do at the office, etc.
Right.
Just being very mindful. And that's a great way to start training the brain.
Absolutely.
Right? Because really that's all it is. And when we have all these thoughts that flow in and out, just let them come in and out. Like, don't try and stop them. Just let them come in, let them flow out. Let them come in, let them flow out.
Just open the window.
Yeah.
Let them come in. The window's open on the other side.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And because a lot of times what we do, we obsess over the thoughts that we're having. And so then we get all caught in that where... Yeah. So we sit and we think, don't think, and then that makes us think even more. So if we can just be focused on just letting it come in and out, then it flows better.
And I was just thinking as well, for those people who are visual learners, there are many meditations out now, whether they are apps, in a book. It's incredible how many different versions there are, and it's just visual.
Yeah.
And you can breathe to what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Just breathe in and out. Obviously in the technological era we live in now, it's amazing what's being created out there. So people are creating images that'll flow in, they'll contract, and then they'll expand, and it's a color.
Yeah.
It's a certain color, and then the colors change, and then the shapes may change. And it's all visual, and that's all brain stuff.
Right.
It's your brain has to respond to what it's seeing.
Right.
So, and for some people that is very meditative, because when we're working with the brain, you're changing the chemistry, which is now the waves, what they call the brain waves.
Right.
And you're now moving into a meditative state. Is very, very popular to be around the alpha or theta state, are very common frequencies to be hanging out at.
Right.
Really, your big monks. You're ones who are doing amazing work, literally up in the mountains, and that's all they do. That's their job.
Sure.
Is to meditate for world peace and Mother Earth. Their brainwaves are amazing, and they're up more toward delta, what we would say gamma delta.
Right.
That's quite a feat.
Yeah.
But that is what people strive for, because when we can finally calm down and ease that anxiety, ease the anxiousness that seems to just be coming around, or it's been there all the time, and it's like this little gnawing.
Yeah.
We just need to shift the brainwaves.
Right.
And breathing will do that.
Right. Simple breathing.
Will do that. Simple belly breathing.
Yes.
Right. Remember, careful to get caught in the chest.
Right.
We've got to breathe down into the belly. Remember, the moment we breathe down into the belly, you've now tripped off a nerve, a particular nerve that's going to go straight to the brain, and the brain will kick off some theta waves.
Yeah.
So it's a symbiotic relationship all the way around. It is much easier than what has previously been spoken of in the past.
Yeah.
But again, it's a different time now.
Right.
It's a very different time.
It is. And there's not anything special that you need to have
Right.
to meditate. I mean, you can certainly like set an entire scene. You can pick your favorite chair. You can set up a candle, some incense, play some music. You can totally set that. I like to do that. I know, Jana, you like to do that. I like to set the vibe. That's always lovely because I'm very dialed into my environment. So I like my environment to be very peaceful and quiet and serene. And so you may designate a place in your home, just a certain area that you really like to be in and meditate in. And you can create just a beautiful space to do that helps you connect, because when you do that, you're actually establishing an energetic connection there. So that space becomes, because our spaces also hold energy, that space becomes very connected to meditation. So you can set up a whole beautiful altar, just whatever you want, or you can meditate outside. You can meditate in your car, not while driving. Do not meditate while driving. I've had people that tell me they listen to their meditations while they're driving. Please don't do that. It does slow down the brain. It makes your help me out, Jana. I guess your reactions. It slows your
reactionary time.
Yeah, reactionary time. So you don't want to meditate while you're driving. I don't care if you have your eyes open. You still don't want to do it.
Right.
But there's no certain place that you have to do it. Just find a place that feels good and comfortable to you, and take 2 or 3 minutes and do it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was having a conversation with a client the other day, and he told me that driving is meditative for him. And I do know people like this.
Yeah.
He drives long distances, and he finds it very meditative.
Right.
And I can understand
I
that.
do appreciate that and understand it.
Yeah. And I know for me, when I'm out on the golf course, just walking the greens is actually very meditative to me, because it's in an environment that I resonate with.
Right.
Remember frequency. It's a match and a win-win.
Yeah, and that's a really good point too, because you don't always have to be in a seated position to be meditating. There are different ways, and what you just named are some of them. Some people enjoy painting. I know when I paint, that's a very meditative process for me, and I really enjoy it, and I'm able to really connect into my center.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of ways that you can do it. Being outside, doing very mindful walking, very contemplative walking, being mindful of your steps, being mindful of the ground that you're walking on, being very dialed into the sounds you're hearing, and just being very quiet. Not having your cell phone, your earbuds, all that in.
Right.
You're just being very connected to nature. That's also very meditative. Yeah.
And again, nature will resonate with your resonance.
Right.
And it's so sublime you don't even know it's happening. That's what labyrinths are all about.
Yes.
That's why they were created, because of the meditative quality they bring and the homecoming, if you will, to yourself and Mother Earth and your surroundings.
Yes. Labyrinth walking is very meditative.
Wonderful.
We have some beautiful labyrinths here in Knoxville. For those of you that are local listening to us, we have several that you can get out and walk, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, me too. And then also, as far as, again, where you can do this anywhere, just like what we just talked about, all those different ways. And Jana, you had mentioned something about, we were talking about nature and the frequency, and we've mentioned this in some of our other videos, but the Schumann resonance, right, which is the Earth's heartbeat. And so the Schumann resonance usually as far as the natural rhythm of that, is about 7.8?
Yeah,
hertz,
they say
something like that.
Yeah, 7.83 hertz.
Yeah.
But again, that number was created a while back,
Right.
like a very long time ago. Things are changing so rapidly anymore, and congruent with the emotionality of everything that is taking place right now, the Schumann resonance is reacting and responding
Right.
And because we are dialed in with, it's the consciousness, right? The Schumann resonance is also about the consciousness of Mother Earth. So she responds to us and we respond to her.
Yeah.
So it'll elevate and drop on an hourly basis.
Right.
It'll elevate and drop.
Right.
And so I know easily within these last 6 months that everybody's been having the experience, she's gone all the way up to 90. I've seen her at 90. 90. Yeah. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
So those are also the times that I will always ask clients, if they come to me, let's say with a headache, there's a lot of headaches, dizziness going on now, anxiety.
Right.
I'll always check into the Schumann resonance and ask where it's at. And I will guide my patients to do the same, to make it part of their daily routine.
Right.
Because again, so they don't feel so hopeless and helpless.
Exactly.
That something's going on with their body when part of it actually may be energetic.
Right.
And by all means, get yourself checked, take care of the medical part of it. Take care of yourselves, definitely. But we always share with people too, well, maybe go down a different road as well and entertain the thought that there may be an energetic reason as well.
Yeah.
As well. Right. It's just like the volume getting turned way up and it is too loud for your ears. That is distorting. That's a very distorting feeling to me when I have that experience.
Absolutely. Well, and that's, part of it too is so like the earth responds to our energy and vibration, right? And then we respond back to her. So it's a very symbiotic relationship. So the more that we breathe,
yes,
and become centered and get still and quiet within,
yes,
that actually helps the earth to do the same. And then she is able to send that energy back to us, which naturally calms us.
Yes.
So again, what Jana and I are talking about here today isn't complicated, and it doesn't have to be for extreme amount of times, for long periods of time. I mean, it can be, again, just simple, couple of 2 or 3 minutes, taking some nice, comfortable, deep breaths, connecting with nature, being outside, being mindful. If you do want to delve more into a meditational practice, you might want to start with the guided meditations, because that will help you begin to train your brain where your thoughts aren't everywhere. And it's part of mastering your energy. That's how I look at it, because our energies, we don't realize that we have control over our thoughts and our energy and our actions. And the more calm and centered we are, the more that we're able to master those energies.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's all that the yogis did.
Yeah.
That's all that they did.
Just master the energies.
They mastered the energies and learned how to literally slow their breath down.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
Yeah.
It's very workable. It's just, again, working with that central nervous system, right? That's what responds to our external environment, is our central nervous system. It's how we're built. We're meant to react and respond.
Yeah.
Question is how far is it going?
Right.
Is it getting out of control, or does it feel like it's too much?
Right. Yeah. So, all right, everyone. Well, we thank you for tuning in with us today. We hope this has been helpful for you. Again, we have some wonderful guided meditations out there on our Holistic Institute of Wellness YouTube channel. Please go, click and subscribe there. We try and update that channel every month. And also just follow us at our website at holisticinstituteofwellness.com, on Facebook, Instagram. So, we're always trying to put out good information and updates. And if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to contact us. We're always happy to help answer any questions that you might have. But really I would just challenge everybody in this next month of September that we're in to set a 30-day challenge for yourselves, and just set the intention that you're going to meditate every day for, let's just say, 3 to 5 minutes. And if you work up more than that, perfect. But set that challenge for yourself and then see where you are at the end of September. See if it's made a difference for you, because I know for me in my daily practices, when I've started my journaling practice, gratitude practice, and then started a meditation practice, you know, it took a few days, a few weeks to get started, but I noticed as I stuck with it, I noticed big changes in my life.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so I'm going to leave you all with that challenge this week.
Yes.
And is there something you wanted to add?
There was a couple of things. Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Dr. Bruce Lipton, 3 powerful heavy hitters in the spiritual scientific community.
Right.
Very easy to find. You can find them on YouTube in a heartbeat. They all have books out. But Dr. Joe Dispenza, for all of our beautiful science geeks, he's big on the brain, huge on spirituality in the brain, as is Greg Braden. But Dr. Joe does a tremendous amount of research in the medical way.
Yeah.
All 3 of them do amazing research. But Dr. Joe, his latest book, Becoming Supernatural, he's got all his research in there. It's fascinating how he's brought in the breath, and he talks about the breath and the energetics, and he brings in the Chinese medicine part of it, with the meridians, and the Hindus call it nadis. But those 3 gentlemen have done wonderful work in the pioneering of body, mind, and spirit. And I just had another thought. Please remember, this is an anniversary month for us.
Oh, yes.
As the US of A.
Yes.
Okay? So be mindful. Energy starts up right around 9/1. And it is visceral to all of us.
Yeah, because we all carry that memory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And whether you are conscious of it or not, it gets reactivated. And when the whole country starts up, because all of a sudden the attention begins, please check yourself. Where are you with all that? How are you feeling around that particular date?
Yeah.
And ground yourself. Remember to ground yourself. Like it'll be interesting to check Schumann resonance
On 9/11.
on 9/11.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
And so just be mindful. This is a powerful month for all of us.
It is.
Right. I mean, obviously.
Powerful, energetic month.
Huge
I mean, it's
energetic.
a powerful year, right? I mean, it's been a very
Right.
interesting year, but
But
each month gets a little more
Yeah.
defined.
And the big things that happen in every
Right.
generation, and every generation has something catastrophic. But it also changes the face of humanity
Right.
and the consciousness.
Yeah.
So the trick, though, is like a lot of that is what does one? How do they choose to work with the trauma, drama, and scarring, emotional scarring
Yeah.
that takes place with all of that? And so I was just thinking, this is a great time to
Yeah.
start a meditation practice
It is.
to help everybody stay calm.
It is. It's an
So
absolutely
you don't
wonderful
get
time.
caught up in the tsunami of emotions that sometimes can happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Great
Okay.
point. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Many blessings.
Many blessings.
Be well.